What's going on, you gamers? Today we're back with some more Evil West, and I'm going to be covering what I believe are some of the best and most powerful upgrades for your weapons and such that you should be looking out for. So if that interests you, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back, all you gamers. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon? I'll bring you all the latest and greatest content on newly released games. But today we're going to be jumping into Evil West, and I'm going to be going over some of the best upgrades you should be looking out for your character in order to make a truly powerful build. Now obviously you will have to play through the game and unlock these as you go, but unless you're going through New Game Plus and kind of getting enough money to acquire everything, what should you be resetting and what should you be speccing into in order to make a truly devastating build? Now I will be going into the perks in another video, but for today we're going to be going over the upgrades. Obviously you've got the Rentier Gauntlet, then you've got the Revolver, over here you've got your tools, and for your slightly longer range you've got your trusty Rentier Rifle, Rentier Expo, and last but definitely not least your Rentier Gatlin gun. What should you be investing in order to get the most from these? So for our Gauntlet, one that actually unlocks free of charge, you're going to get this just by playing through the campaign, and that's going to be up the sleeve. This one is really good as it's an added extra, and it's going to mean that it gives us a little damaging effect every once in a while whenever we're throwing out some attacks. However, it is randomly generated, so we can't guarantee it, but it is still nice extra free damage. The main one though, out of all of them you're going to want to invest in, is going to be your Great Finish. Performing the Zapper finish produces a spike of electricity, dropping an energy pickup. This one is just amazing and means you have a massive amount of energy going on very often. Whenever they're in that state that you see there, bopping into that yellow state, kind of like a dizzy effect, just before they're down and out, you're going to go in with your Zapper and you're going to finish them off, allowing us to get our charges back very often. Another good one that I enjoy using with this is going to be the Fists of Steel. Performing the Zapper pull or dash supercharges the Gauntlet and greatly increases the next melee punch damage. This is just a great opener. Obviously you're going to be using that Zapper quite a lot going in or bringing them towards yourself. Having that big bit of damage at the start can really help out, especially if you're playing at later difficulty levels. For the Rentier Revolver, I would say the most important one is going to be Blaster. This is going to be the electricity augmented version, and it just makes things a whole bunch easier. It isn't the highest damage, but if you want to spray and pray and take out a lot of enemies at once, this one is really nice and easy to use, and usually means that you're not going to get caught out whilst you're using it. Also, being able to put another extra bullet works out well, because the more bullets you've got, the more damage, so having 7 instead of 6 works out perfect. Moving over to our Agent Tools, and one that I would say is probably the very first one you could pick up. The most important thing you can get in this game is Do Not Disturb. Healing is now followed up with a short 5-second invulnerability. This, along with a few other invuls in the game, make it so you're going to stay alive. If you haven't got these, this game would be very difficult. One of the best pickups, you should get this as soon as possible. And just down from here, Amp Snack. Pretty much in exactly the same vein, this one is just as good, if not even better in some situations. It does cost 1 energy, but it means as long as you've got those energy segments, you can use them. It's going to heal you, and it's also going to give you exactly the same thing again, and you've got a 5-second invul with each use. So if you had 2, 3, 4 energy segments to use, you would be able to have the exact amount of invulnerabilities. And a nice bit of health going on. Can really help you out in those tricky situations, allowing for a lot of survivability. Just over from here, going on to our long range or a little bit more precision based, and the Rentier Rifle, I would say probably the only one you will 100% need would be the free bullet. Hitting a weak spot now restores a bullet spent on it. This gun isn't the most powerful for your damage, but it is the most precise. So being able to do this, if you're quick to the draw, can often mean that you're not spending any ammo and you can take out multiple enemies at once. Now jumping over to the Expo, and this is probably my go-to weapon of choice if I'm going to be using that kind of long range, and I would say all 3 of these perks are well worth having. The first one is going to give it an extended ammo clip, giving it 2 additional bolts. The second one means rather than it being rapid fire, you can dash out 2 bolts at a time, allowing you to move about a little bit easier, and it does quite a significant amount of damage. And last but not least, amped bolts. Electrically charged bolts can create an electrical arc between the tagged enemies. This is great if you've got smaller enemies. Now you can focus on them, and as you can see on the clip on the right, it's going to tag all of them, keep them together and do a little bit of damage over time. This weapon does really nice damage, single target, or with this on, even in a group. Now for an absolute powerhouse, you're going to be looking at the Rentier Gatlin, and again you will want all 3 of these. The reason for that, the first one, the Cocoon, is going to give you a straight up invulnerability again, meaning you're going to take no damage the whole time you're shooting that trigger. If you're not shooting it, or you've just finished your clip, that's when you're in a little bit of danger, so just make sure you're checking that as you go. Fire and forget, the bullet belt gives it 25% additional longer fire, giving it 25% additional damage, and giving yourself 25% additional invulnerability time. Again, being able to make yourself completely sturdy and not take any damage is absolutely amazing in this game, so that's well worth picking up. And last but not least again is Death Ray. Its energy variant deals higher damage and can make enemies explode. No real reason why to tell you this is good, that's just amazing. It now does a massive amount of damage, and this again is great for that single target or for clearing multiple enemies. Over to the shotgun, and I found that Snapshot was an absolute beast. This means that you're going to get double damage on an enemy. If you're using it on those medium targets, they're pretty much going to explode. Just make sure they're coming towards you. When they're about to hit you, you're going to activate this. It's going to do double damage, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and pop. For the flamethrower, I would say this is very possibly one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful weapon in the game. Definitely invest in this when you can. This one right here is amazing. Extra crispy, burning enemies receive 30% more melee damage. What I tend to do, rather than using up the whole of the flamer, just activate it once, take on the first guy, make him burn, and then go in with your zapper. After that, go into your E-combo, and then you're probably going to finish them off and explode everything in that area. And you'll be able to rinse and repeat because you've not used much of your flamer. Again, working hand in hand with that, with a bang. Burning regular enemies deals splash damage upon death. As you can see from the picture, you don't have to finish them off with the flamer. As long as they're on fire, they're going to do that splash damage, and it means you've got a multiple way of clearing those small to medium enemies. Jumping over to the explosive bundles, and I found that this one was essential. Your triple charges is really good, and it's able to take out multiple enemies at once, meaning there's 3 charges rather than 1. And adding to that effect, and looking like probably one of the coolest moves in the game, now you get a lightning tornado spawn on that first middle one you throw. The electrically augmented explosive now spawns a temporary pocket sized electric whirlwind. It doesn't always hit its target, but it does look very cool, and as long as they're in that vicinity, as you can see in the picture, it's able to shock them as they're going around, just as long as they're not too far away from the tornado, and it looks absolutely amazing. Right everyone, hopefully that's helped a few of you out. They're the ones that I would recommend. They are absolutely amazing for taking on the enemy and just having a lot of fun as you go. I'll be bringing out a few more guides and a few more videos for this game as I'm really enjoying it. As always, Full Things Gaming, Full Things Xbox. Take care. I'll see you on the next day.